All right, my dear, I heard you loud and clear, and let's talk about some of these things. Um, are Black children in other countries important? They are. I agree totally. Children that Black men have left in whatever country they've left them in are all Black children, and every single one of them is important. Okay. Um, let's talk about for a minute how we would fix that. Okay. Um, Typically, what has happened is there are foundations or nonprofits that are formed. Um, some type of an organization is gotten together so that we can contribute to, and those organizations then go help those children. All right, be they uh, organizations that we form. Sometimes the Red Cross. I'm not sure what organizations, but that's done through an organization. Um, as to the Black sons leaving their children there, that's on them. All right. Grown men are responsible for what comes out of their testicles. All right. So we are not going to then have me use my money, my time, and my energy to go rescue a child that a Black man has left behind. That child cannot come before my child. It cannot. I don't think any Black American woman is going to spend her energies taking care of someone else's child before she takes care of her own. Okay? So, Black children here in America are vastly important. In fact, they are suffering tremendously. All right? Our social system is designed to help them, but it doesn't do a very good job. Our children are being sex trafficked. They disappear. Women disappear. Children are disappearing. So we have an issue here, and there will be an issue there. The question is, what's the priority? Okay, I'm not saying that the children in other places aren't important. They are. But if you ask me if I have two children drowning, am I going to pick mine or yours? I am always going to pick mine first. I'm sorry your child is drowning. I really am. But my child will come first in every single situation. Now, I understand the pain that that might cause the other person, that their grandchild is stuck in another country. But my first thing would be you need to contact your son and have him go figure out how to take care of his children. Now, I'm not leaving those children out in the cold, but they are secondary to the children who are here. Okay? Our social system is supposed to take care of the children who are at the bottom of the social economic system. It doesn't do a good job of it, but it is something, and that is where our tax dollars go. Okay? Our children are being unalived. Our children are being sex trafficked. So I cannot muster more empathy for someone else's child than I can muster for my own. I cannot. So will I give to the foundation? Maybe, probably. Some other people will too. But the issues that we have in this country have to come first. And I'll tell you why. Let's say there's a wonderful foundation out there that will go get these children and they need $20 million. Do I have 20 million? Do most people in the African American community have 20 million? The answer would be no. Now, you can go hit up the millionaires, see if you can get them to come in and contribute. But the average African American in America is only going to be able to give a small amount. Okay? Let's take a minute and look at the Black community right now. Okay? And let's think of it, we're going to use an analogy. Houses. Okay? There's 4 houses. Bob's house on fire, Fran's house on fire, my house on fire. And what typically happens when other communities need help, the Black community will come out and help the other 2 groups, hoping that they will help us in time of need. But that hasn't happened. That is why the Black community is at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder. Has been, remains so, because we spread all of our help to other organizations. Nobody spreads it to us. Pretty rare. And when that does happen, sometimes the results are disastrous. All right? So we've been spending all our time giving our resources, giving our water to these other causes. What I propose is that, okay, number 1, turn off the water to everybody else, because quite frankly, we're the one that has the biggest problem in this country. Every number says so. Our children are dying. We are dying in childbirth. We are dying too young. We need all of our water, all of our resources to come back into the Black community. The foundation of the Black community is families. Husbands and wives, single families, families, all right? And we need to fix that foundation. That's the first thing we're going to do, all right? We need to get healthier, we need to live longer, and we need to then figure out how to rebuild the community that sits on top of Black women, Black husbands and wives, Black children, Black families, all right? Single parent families, all of them. That's all a foundation that is now broken and needs to be fixed. Once we fix that, we now can build a community. Okay, communities generate entrepreneurs. That's why I said in my last video that we should support Black businesses, build new businesses, all right? Because those businesses are then able to fund what comes next. Educational systems for our children. We can build social systems for our families and our children so that we can get the people who are living on the streets, the Black women living on the streets, the Black people, that get them off the streets, get them into the economy and becoming productive. If you go to LA, they've got like 100,000 Black people living on the street. Do you know how crazy that is? At any rate, so here we are. We have now rebuilt our community. The power of a community is tremendous. We have our own grocery stores. We have our own car repair places. We have whatever communities need to thrive. The businesses that do that, the businesses in that community can make millionaires. Okay? They certainly raise the economic status of the community. All right? Because instead of then going out to buy my groceries, I buy them in my own local store from a Black grocery store owner who then becomes a millionaire. All right? And that is how that works. Because, see, once you do that, once you rebuild the community and you educate your children so that they can then become a part of that economy, okay, you now have children who are doctors. We have children that are attorneys, children that are accountants, children that are engineers, whatever it is they're going to be. They are now in a higher socioeconomic status. Once you get to that point, these people that have all come out of that community then contribute to the foundations, the organizations, the nonprofits that go overseas. Now, as strange as it seems, that's exactly what happened, because in the 60s, when I grew up, and I'm sure when you grew up too, those were there. Okay, I grew up in a community filled with Black businesses. They owned the car lots, they owned the stores, they owned the repair places, they owned the gas stations. That's not true anymore, not in the Black community. So that basic, that foundation of Black community has disappeared. It has to come back in order for it to be able to fund the foundations, the nonprofits, the organizations that help people who live outside of the United States. I will not go to another country to put out their fire while my house is on fire. I will not. And anyone who does that must have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money. I'm a regular person. I take my resources and I work on my community. Okay? Now, it is true. Those children will be sex trafficked, unalive. They will be the grandbabies of Black women. Absolutely, I hear you. That is going to happen. Are Black women going to have a problem with it? Yeah, probably. But before they come to my door, I would say, go to your son and tell him to go take care of his children. That's the first thing I would say. I did not make that problem. I will not be responsible for fixing it. Okay? We are now holding ourselves accountable for our own mistakes in this country. What we're not going to do is go out of the country and chasing somebody else's. Now, we'll help. Our grandmother's going to be upset. Absolutely. If my son did that, and I have a son, yeah, I'd be upset. But then I would be kicking his butt going, what did you do? You had a baby. What about the baby? Because, see, we are tired of taking care of children that we don't produce. If he is going to go over and make children, then the first line of defense is the father. So I understand your position. Yep. Heirs, grandbabies, yep, all of that is going to happen. I do not doubt it. But I will not put them above my own children and my own grandchildren, should I ever have any. I hope that helps.